Every student ignored him. No one ever asked his name. Until one day the principal walked in, holding a newspaper that changed his life forever. Mr. Thomas was the school janitor. He would mop floors every night after the students left. He never missed a shift, never raised his voice, always carried an old lunchbox and wore the same worn boots. Most kids never looked at him. Teachers passed by without noticing. To them, he was just the janitor. But what no one knew was Mr. Thomas had a secret. 30 years ago, he was a published author, a professor, and a respected name in academic circles. But after his wife passed and his daughter got sick, he gave up everything to care for her. Bills stacked up, he sold his house, then his books. And finally, he took the only job that let him stay close to her school, cleaning the very hallways he once lectured in. One night the school principal was walking past and saw something odd. Mr. Thomas sitting in the library reading a Latin novel flawlessly. He was shocked. The next morning a newspaper headline flashed, "Local janitor speaks 6 languages, was former Ivy League scholar." The story had leaked from a student who caught him writing poetry in 4 languages. Suddenly, the school saw him. Students began greeting him. Teachers asked him questions. One student even wrote a college essay titled, "The Smartest Man in School Isn't a Teacher." The principal called him in. "Mr. Thomas, we'd be honored if you'd teach our after-school writing program." Mr. Thomas, eyes wet, simply nodded. "I'd love that. Thank you for seeing me." Every night he tutored kids, sharing stories and life lessons. His wisdom surprised them. His kindness touched them. They never saw him as a loser or a failure, not when he spoke so passionately about everything from ancient Greek plays to the latest sci-fi flick. To these kids, Mr. Thomas was a legend. Years passed. Mr. Thomas retired, but he wasn't done. He tutored kids in the community, mentored young writers, and even published a new book of poetry at age 72. He proved it's never too late to share your gift with the world. And most importantly, he showed everyone that behind every great man is a pile of dirty mops. Once upon a time in a bustling city, there was a hard-working street sweeper named Ben. Every morning Ben would wake up before sunrise and start sweeping the streets. He worked tirelessly all day, pushing his broom back and forth, back and forth. As the seasons changed, so did the weather. In the hot summer, Ben would sweat profusely, and in the cold winter, he would shiver in the biting wind. Despite the hardships, Ben took pride in his work. He believed that keeping the streets clean was an important job that helped make the city a better place to live. One day, while Ben was sweeping the streets, he noticed a group of children playing nearby. They were laughing and having fun, and Ben couldn't help but smile. It reminded him of a time when he, too, was young and carefree. But then he quickly shook off the thought and went back to work. He didn't have time to waste. There were still many streets to sweep. As the years passed, Ben continued his work as a street sweeper. He became known as the cleanest man in town because of his dedication and hard work. People would often stop and chat with him while he worked, and he always had a kind word and a friendly smile for everyone. One day, a young woman named Lily was walking down the street when she noticed Ben sweeping the road. She was struck by his positive attitude and strong work ethic. She stopped and asked him how he managed to stay so happy and motivated despite doing such repetitive work day in and day out. Ben smiled and replied that he found joy in the small things in life, and that he loved his job because it allowed him to help keep the community clean and healthy. Lily was inspired by Ben's words and decided to start looking for the good things in her own life. She realized that happiness wasn't something you found, it was something you created every day through your attitude and actions. From that day on, Lily and Ben became friends. She would often join him on his rounds, and together they would bring a little more sunshine to the streets of their town. One day, a new mayor was elected who wanted to modernize the city. He decided to get rid of all the street sweepers and replace them with new technology. Ben was devastated. He loved his job and he didn't want to lose it, but he knew that change was inevitable and he had to move on. Although Ben was sad to leave his old job, he was excited about this new opportunity. He was given a shiny new car and a fancy uniform, and he loved driving around the streets in his air-conditioned vehicle. While Ben enjoyed his new job, he couldn't help but miss the satisfaction he had gotten from his work as a street sweeper. He missed the feeling of the sun on his skin and the wind in his hair as he pushed his broom down the road. One day while Ben was driving his new car, he saw Lily sitting on a bench nearby. He rolled down his window and called out to her, and she waved back with a big smile. Ben parked his car and went over to say hello. He explained how he felt about his new job and how much he missed being a street sweeper. Lily listened patiently, and then she said something that really surprised him. She told him that she had started a petition to bring back the street sweepers, and that so far she had gotten hundreds of signatures from people who agreed with her. Ben was touched by Lily's support, and he thanked her for standing up for him and the other street sweepers. Together, they came up with a plan to convince the mayor to reconsider his decision. They went door to door, talking to people about how important the street sweepers were to the community, and slowly but surely, they started to turn people's minds. Finally, the day of the town hall meeting arrived. Ben and Lily were both nervous, but they knew that this was their last chance to save the street sweeping jobs. When it was their turn to speak, They passionately told the mayor and the townspeople how much the street sweepers had improved the quality of life in their community and how they had become an integral part of the town. Their words were so powerful that the mayor and the townspeople could no longer ignore the importance of the street sweepers. In the end, the mayor agreed to reinstate the street sweeping jobs and even apologized to Ben for trying to take them away in the first place. The townspeople cheered and celebrated, and Ben was overjoyed. He knew that he and Lily had done something truly special, not just for themselves, but for the whole community. From that day on, Ben continued his work as a street sweeper, happier than ever before. He was proud to be a part of a team that kept their town clean and healthy, and he knew that he had a friend in Lily who would always stand up for him and the other street sweepers. And so the tale of Ben, the street sweeper who taught a young girl about happiness, continued to be told in their town for many years to come.